My name's Gabrielle, and I'm one of the founders of ThanksToCamp. ThanksToCamp is a Canadian Camping Association marketing initiative, and I'm happy to announce that ThanksToCamp and the International Camping Fellowship has partnered up so that we can create an international conversation starting August 1st. ThanksToCamp is to help staff, campers, alumni, camps, and parents have a voice in sharing their ThanksToCamp story. By using the hashtag ThanksToCamp, we are lighting a path towards the value that camps give to our communities. Camps are hurting right now, and together, by sharing our stories, we will be helping give camps a voice. Join me on Instagram and Facebook to learn more about this initiative, and check out our website at ThanksToCamp.org. Welcome, everybody, to another ICF Presents. I can't believe we are actually in season 4, episode 4, and we have such an important and dynamic team that is going to be joining us today, and I just can't wait to introduce them. I'm going to ask to just turn off the slide presentation because I've gotten fancy over here, and we are going to do this way. Make sure you are on Spotlight so you can see me in the main screen. But just before we start, we'd love to know in the chat where you are from. So please share where you're either, zooming in from, or where your camp is. I know that some people live in one place and then their camp is in another country. So share with us where you're from. This is just always so exciting with ICF to see people from around the world joining us, and share that there. If you have any questions, you can also ask in our chat. Today, just some friendly reminders. You would like to perhaps put yourself on speaker view. I'd like to say thank you to Kate for helping me with some of these graphics today. Also, keep yourself on Zoom. And most of the presentation today will be primarily in English. But in our chats, you can write in Spanish. Thank you, Lucy. And you also may write in English. Thank you, Gwen, Kate, and Alexia for helping us out there. There are no formal breaks, so you take care of yourself, and step away from your screen if you need to. We will be wrapping up in 90 minutes ish, and in ICF Academy, we love the ish part. We try our best. So without further ado, we have 6 very special presenters that are joining us on the stage today. And this is quite an important and interesting and exciting collaboration that formed in ICC Spain, of people getting together, shared interests, similar values, and bringing that information to us today, as well as, my humble opinion, next generation of best speakers. So we have Pinar, Lucy, Andrea, Maria, or Mafe, and also Jay and Nika. And to tell us a little bit more about these wonderful individuals, I'd love to invite Kate to the stage.
Thanks, Gabz. So Pinar is a youth mentor, counselor, and educator. She holds a Bachelor of Engineering and a graduate diploma in counseling. Throughout her interdisciplinary training, she aimed to collect various skills that could help her dream, collaborate, and create with young people and children. She has been lucky enough to work with hundreds of teens and children in various settings, such as youth travel, nature sports camps, and weekly gatherings. Pinar peer tutored and taught in university, working in different leadership roles as a volunteer in several social responsibility projects, and as a camp director at a community-loved youth empowerment organization overseas. In addition, she has served as lead mentor at Alethea Learning and as a provisional counselor at the government-run Veloz Youth Hub in New South Wales, Australia. She is currently establishing a trauma-informed educational camp organization to serve children, young people, and the adults around them. What she values most about the staff experience at camp is that it fosters unforgettable memories and holistic well-being for campers and staff alike. Royce was born and raised in Johannesburg, South Africa. Royce Mabwe embodies an authentic drive for uncovering deeper meanings in life and reality. With a background in music and 7 years of experience in the camp industry, Jay is a passionate photographer and cinematographer. She finds joy in inspiring, educating, and motivating young adults, teens, and kids through her work. In the camp environment, Jay thrives on the freedom, excitement, and fearless nature it fosters, with a keen love for the arts. She is often found with a camera in hand, capturing moments brimming with joy, glee, and happiness around camp. Additionally, Jay channels her creativity into designing brochures and websites, showcasing camp events and festivities. Luciana, or better known as Lucy in camp, is a young international relations student with her heart at camp. Even coming from a history of family camp counselors, it was in Iguanas Camp, where she is currently coach counselor, where she actually discovered the magic of camping adventures and the importance of outdoor education. And now, being part of the team planning Iguana's staff recruitment and training process, she is living for the value of a well thought out training process and making it a valuable experience for candidates. Nika Ackenbom understands the power of camp from firsthand experience. She grew up attending camp and after aging out, worked in a variety of camp jobs, including counselor as a teenager. After attending Virginia Tech and graduating with a degree in English, she felt camp calling her back and began a full-time role. Through attending camp, she was shaped and inspired by many amazing counselors who turned into role models. She also made lifelong friends and found herself in this incredible community, inspiring her to give that same magical experience to fellow staff and campers every summer. Mafe is a 26-year-old young woman passionate about education. From a young age, she discovered the love she had for small children. Consequently, she wanted to be a teacher. Thereafter, she graduated as a childhood pedagogue. Along the way, she discovered Kahuyali Camp and has since become a CIT. Since becoming a CIT, she has understood the power of outdoor learning and has been able to find the perfect balance between her profession and passion. As she continued to learn and grow, she became a counselor, soon after a coordinator, and finally a field director, starting to work in the office as a summer camp coordinator, thus dedicating 100% of her time in experiential education. She's being witness to the change in the lives of young children, young people, and adults. She feels that she actually lives a dream life with the perfect job and enjoys day by day what she does. What she values the most about being part of the staff is the way that she has been able to grow and see others grow around her as well. Andrea Veloz is an organizational and industrial psychologist with a lifetime experience in the camp industry. Currently, she is the general coordinator at Emehe Campamento, where she started her path as a camper. This journey gave her the opportunity to firsthand witness the profound impact this experience has on children. As she began to experience camp through different roles, she realized the staff experience is equally, if not more, enriching than that of being a camper. She is passionate about enhancing staff experience to help develop young leaders, creating value in the individual as well as the organizational level.
I'm just emotional hearing the lineup of people we have today, and the longer you're in this industry, all you have to do is to be inspired is look a little bit to your left and a little bit to your right, and you're just going to find so many brilliant people. That being said, it is my honor to have so many brilliant people today talking about things that are extremely important to camp, and that's our staff. And so, how are we going to be spending our time today? Well, we're going to be with Pinar and Lucy looking at staff recruitment, getting our staff members, with Andrea and Mafe engaging returning staff, which we know we put a lot of time and energy into. And so, how do we engage them when they come to camp and feel like they're being valued? And as well as with Ajay and Nika, build buy-in with your staff, like new staff. So building buy-in with your new staff members when they come in, that they understand like the power of your camp. And I do want to say at the very end, you are going to want to stick around because we have a very special guest for our spotlight today. Jeff Bradshaw will be joining us, and you want to stay for Jeff because Jeff could make painting walls sound interesting. So stick around for Jeff. Stick around for all of these wonderful speakers, and please feel free to use the chat anytime for encouragement words or if you have questions. And so right now, I'd like to invite two wonderful individuals to come to the stage. And Pinar and Luciana, I've heard them speak before, just in passing by, and every time I am taking something away from them. So, Pinar and Luciana, why don't you join us on the stage?
Thank you so much for this wonderful invitation. We prepared this small presentation for you with Lucy, but we have 4 insights and 4 practical tools to share with you about this very crucial topic. And I will start with the first 2, and my friend Lucy will continue for the remaining 2. We would like to start our presentation with this powerful quote. It's a bit long, so I will just leave it at your own pace for reading it. And I just want to share my brief takeaway from it, is that the quality of the camp staff is probably the most important thing in, like it's the initial sentence suggests, in successfully operating a camp program. There has been many research done also looking into how youth mentorship affects the overall experience of young people and children, and how important it is that the members of our team and what they represent is going to affect essentially their overall experiences, our campus overall experiences. So this is what we know, that it's an undeniable truth. So it's extremely important for us to focus on this topic, we thought, especially with the summer season approaching. So we can go on the next slides if it's okay, Gabz. In doing this, we want to optimize our staff recruitment for adventure camps. In doing this, we need to establish 4 essential elements, we thought. And this is to create enriching and memorable experiences for all people involved, because and we want to actually start with a small poll, because we all know that there are many challenges we all face in staff recruitment processes at our camp organizations. So before we proceed, we wanted to invite you to quickly possibly join to this poll that we've created for you, so we can all gauge and what are the top 3 challenges we all face in staff recruitment at our camps. I'll pause for 2 minutes, so hopefully you can jump in and you can find the link on the chat, or you can also use the QR code that's shared here on the screen if you would like to join this poll with us. I think my friend Lucy or Gabz was going to share the screen with us, so we can all see the results.
Looking good.
Yeah. So as we see, there are many, even in only a minute, that we could come up with.
Mm-hmm.
There are many challenges that we face. Sorry, this poll was actually to show us the importance of our discussion, and also get a international understanding of what type of challenges are actually out there. And it will be at the heart of our discussion today, is that that we have to understand the quality of our camps staff will significantly affect the success of our camp organization. And it's not, obviously, like the quote from the camp counselor suggests, it's not just about the physical aspects of our camps, such as the size, layout, or equipment. Rather, it's about the people who bring our programs to life. So let's dive into how we can optimize our staff recruitment strategies to create these enriching and memorable experiences. So we gathered, like, as I mentioned, we gathered there would be many ways to do this, and we are very interested in learning all about that as well. But for us, we have gathered 4 actionable tips, insights for you to begin with. And first one of them is that we have to create a clear recruitment process. So Gabz, maybe we could move on to the next slide. This is very essential to tailor this process to your own camp's organizational structure and needs. And whether your recruitment process mirrors a multi-step training program like the one at Iguana's camp in Venezuela, or follows a more traditional application and interview format, there will be still key elements to consider. And these key elements, we have summarized it for you in here, since we have limited time, but we need to establish clear job responsibilities and, of course, determine the number of positions needed based on staff to camper ratios, and define our lines of supervision and develop comprehensive job descriptions for encouraging accountability and consistency in our camp organizations. This is to explore the ideal candidate, and we also prepared a handout for you where we dived a little bit deeper into these 4 essential elements of staff organization, along with a little bonus like ultimate job description checklist. So we can proceed. Moving forward, we will explore this is the handouts we prepared for you. You will receive them at the end of our presentation, and hopefully they will be useful in creating or revising your own staff recruitment processes. And moving forward, we'll explore the importance of developing a comprehensive screening and selection process. This step is very essential for identifying the ideal candidates for your camp. It will involve a range of activities, from resume review, interviews, which can also be in the shape of a multi-step training processes, and reference checks and background screenings. And thanks to these steps, we can ensure that our staff align with our camp's mission and values, ultimately safeguarding the safety and well-being of our camp participants. And this is also to foster a positive and inclusive camp environment, making sure everybody feels at home. So our second handout will also provide you with a screening and selection checklist, along with an interview question bank tailored specifically for outdoor adventure and youth camps. You could also perceive this interview question bank as inspiration points for your case studies that you might be maybe sharing during your multi-step training processes as well. And now I'd like to introduce my colleague Lucy, who will guide us through the next part of our presentation. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pinar. That was amazing. So now I want to walk through the next 2 actionable insights, where first of all, now that we have a clear vision on how the recruitment process will look like, now we're only missing the candidates. So we need these recruitment channels to promote and search for staff candidates. And you can explore different channels and various of them depending on what would you expect from your candidates. So for example, we have online jobs, online job boards, social media platforms, networking events, referrals, and others, many more. So to choose which recruitment channels you will use, it's crucial to understand what are you looking for, who's your ideal candidate. So we can then consider the effectiveness and reach of each channel to maximize their potential. So for example, if your ideal candidate is a young person in their college years, maybe you don't want to find them, or you won't find them in a networking event, but maybe in social media or even a job fair at their university. So considering all this, we need to balance factors like cost effectiveness and quality of candidates. That's why, if we can go back the slide really quick, that's why this handout we prepared, it's a recruitment channels evaluation worksheet, where you can decide with this handout which channels are most effective for your recruitment process. So now we can pass the slide. For example, something we wanted to mention really briefly is, don't be afraid of digital tools. There are so many opportunities to be found in them, so we can make our recruitment processes more innovative each year. For example, this year at Iguanas, we use posters in universities with QR codes, so people could scan the codes and go right to our application form and fill it out and be part of our recruitment and training process. And we've got many people, young people, that it's our ideal candidates. We had many young people that decided to come thanks to this promotion we did. So digital tools such as this, such as social media ads, online job boards, and even more can help you enhance your recruitment efforts and attract different audiences depending on what you need. So to make them stick around, we need to show the benefits of joining the staff. What are they gonna get? What are they gonna learn, most importantly? But let's not stick just to one recruitment channel. Mouth-to-mouth promoting, ads, campaigns, all that, using multiple channels, we can increase the visibility of our camps and engage with more potential candidates. So if we can go to the next slide, please. So now for our last insight for today, we want to highlight the fostering of a positive candidate experience. So it's not uncommon for candidates, especially if they're young, to be nervous, anxious during this process. So for them to take the first steps in your recruitment process and training process, their experience needs to be positive from the start. Make them feel welcome. So it's crucial for attracting and retaining top talent. So some actions we can do is communicate transparently and timely throughout the recruitment process, throughout the channels you choose. So it's either WhatsApp, emails, text messages, maybe an app, etc. You can also provide timely feedback and engagement opportunities so they can grow within your training and feel a part of it. Showcase your camp culture and values. Let them feel what it's to be part of your organization. And for the last little tip, highlight the benefits of joining your staff. So as I said before, it's important for them to stick around, even though more young leaders will talk about it later. It's important for them to know what are they going to learn, how are they going to grow within your organization. So it's a valuable experience for them. So for this handout, the fourth handout, we did a checklist of candidate experience. So you can take account of different things that can maybe be valuable for you during this recruitment process. So if we can go to the next slide, please. So effective staff recruitment is a continuous process, and it requires careful planning and evaluation. By implementing these strategies and tools discussed today, you can enhance your camp's recruitment efforts and build dedicated and passionate staff team. This is one of the most important parts of camp. As someone said in the chat, it's not just about the place, it's not just about the adventures, it's not just about the programs, but also the people. And let's embrace innovation, adaptability, and inclusivity in our recruitment practices so we can foster a culture of growth and excellence in our camp communities. So to end our presentation today, we prepared another Menti so we could hear a bit more about what is your biggest takeaway from the discussion. So I'll share it in the chat and share it on screen so we can talk about a bit more what are your biggest takeaways from the discussion that we just had. So you can go ahead and scan the QR code. You can go to menti.com and insert the code. And I'll share right now my screen so you can look at what are the people's responses and see what are we taking from this little presentation we prepared. So here we have some responses. So beginner mindset, multiple channels. I like the checklist and how the whole process is organized chronically. Yes, it's really important. Be aware of different channels to bring staff. Get organized to recruit better. Quality of staff is the most important factor in our industry. I agree completely. A proper flow in the process of recruitment is important and needed to be creative in order to attract attention. Yes. And I can see this one. Aha. The checklists are helpful. That's all thanks to Pinar. She prepared all the handouts. We planned them together, but she made all the graphics. So shout out to Pinar. And the last one says, keep up to date with new technology so we can stay current with spreading the word. I agree 100%. Innovation brings us to the future and enhance tradition, but not be limited by it. That's a quote I live from. So I think that's all for today. Thank you so much. You can keep continuing answering the Menti, please do. And now I want to go back to Gabz and give her the microphone.
Thanks, Lucy, and thanks, Pinar. You know, wonderful presentation. So many great comments. I do recommend you going back because they're wonderful comments. I actually have a question for both of you. I think that so many things that you brought to the table, I think like social media is super important, and we know that we can, if you make one post of social media, you can sort of change it up and put it to other ones. Reaching out to yours, you know, not the necessarily camp director, executive person needs to come up with all these ideas. You can give a big picture idea to some of your younger staff members, and they can help create content. I think one of the things that some camps struggle with, especially when it comes to their staff, is sharing or showcasing their camp values. And that's one of the things that you had there, showcasing your camp culture. What are some of the ways that you find, you know, quite helpful in translating that camp culture that you have to potential new recruitments? Go for it.
So I'll go first. I don't know if Pinar might like to maybe talk a bit more about it, but I'll talk by my experience. So our recruitment process is also a multiple steps one. So it includes our training. And what we do to not only foster experience for candidates, but also to foster what is our organizational culture. We do different examples. We give different examples during training. So what is our culture about it? And we also invite staff, like veteran staff, we call it, like staff from last year or that has many years of experience during the camp. So they are also part of the training process of this year. So they talk
very smart
about their experiences. They are also very positive, energetic. So people that are candidates also get positive and energetic, and they start looking on what are the things that describe a counselor of our camp, like being responsible, being proactive, being communicative, being energetic, happy, etc., etc. So that's a little example of it because it's a really big topic, but that's how we usually do in training.
Mhm.
But in social media, for example, if we have a video, we also try to show that organizational culture. In a post, we also highlight what are the values of our camp. There's different
Mhm.
ways we can showcase our cultures and values of our camps.
Yeah. It's not just one way. It has to be throughout everything that you're doing. Pinar, did you have anything to add to what Lucy was talking about?
I think she has covered pretty much
Yeah.
everything that I would also mention. And they
Mhm.
have an incredible, like, she has introduced Iguana's Camp's recruitment process to me as we were working together. And since it's a very well-established organization that has years behind its back, I feel like Lucy's insights are very valuable representing Iguana's Camp, because their recruitment process seems super well taught and well designed
Mhm.
to really make people understand what they represent and what they
Yeah.
are there for.
Well, I
I
appreciate
like
both
the
of
no
you.
excuses
Yes.
hashtags, Lucy. I think that's very cool. That I'm not sure if you we put any visuals of it on our presentation, but Lucy was sharing in their social media campaign where they were looking for candidates. They used in their native language no excuses as a hashtag. I think that already tells something about the organization. Get ready. We won't be looking for any excuses, and whoever signs up for the recruitment process, they're already signing up for that enriching experience. And I think this is pretty smart to go about it. Just put everything very transparently, so the candidates don't have any surprises throughout the
Yes.
process, and they know exactly what to expect when they what they are signing up for, and what type of team are they going to be part of.
I think that is those are words of wisdom, especially for organizations that we're all really looking for staff. It's a lot of work to get staff, and sometimes we might lean into all the positive and the shiny and the beautiful. But being transparent is how you're gonna build trust, and you're gonna find those people that actually want to do what you do. So I think that's very wise. People, put that in your back pocket. The hashtag is also great. Thank you again, Pinar and Lucy. Really appreciate it. And we're shifting on. Yes, we are. Now, before we go on, we just a little friendly reminder. We do have some wonderful speakers here today. Some of them are first-time speakers with ICF Academy, and feedback is currency. It is so helpful to know how you did. Did it hit the mark for you? So at the end of our workshop today, we do ask that you fill out this feedback, especially for the speakers that have put in so much time and energy. As you saw, Pinar and Lucy did such a wonderful job. At the end, we will be sharing this document, but this is just a friendly reminder. And coming up to the stage now, we have Andrea and Mafe talking about engaging returning staff, which is so important. And sometimes with all of the work that camp professionals have to do with recruiting staff, it's sometimes returning staff becomes a little bit of an afterthought but we need to engage with them, because they're the ones that set the tone for our camp, and also set the tone for new staff members coming in. So Andrea and Mafe, I'm so excited to hear your presentation. Why don't you join me on the stage?
So hi everyone, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much, Gabz. As she told you, we're going to talk about how to engage that returning staff. But to start doing this, we want to put you a little bit in context, because to engage staff and to retain staff, it is a whole process that we want to help you understand with a little bit of a cycle. So this cycle starts off with recruitment, which Pinar and Lucy did an amazing job talking to you about. So it all starts when this individual wants to go into the organization and become a part of your camp. And this individual starts going through the selection processes and doing all that you have established for the individual to come into the organization. But it also goes the other way. As we could see with Pinar and Lucy, the organization has to make efforts in order to attract those individuals that they want to obtain within the organization. So as we can see, it's a cycle that apparently goes both ways. And the next term is going to help us understand this way better. So the next thing that happens in the cycle, once the individual is already within the organization, I am part of your camp. Now I will start feeling as an individual if my values, my personality, my thoughts, my purpose in life is aligned to what your organization is selling or what your organization is doing. And likewise, your organization, your camp, has some values of their own, a purpose of their own, and your organization needs to feel that this individual is in sync with those values. So this is what we're talking about when we say individual and organizational adjustment. And this is very, very important. And the last phase of this cycle is talent retention, when one individual feels attracted and connected to the organization, and the organization feels connected to that individual, then we can start talking about talent retention. We can start talking about how to engage that returning staff. What we have to do is we have to impact on that individual and organizational adjustment aspect. And how we can do that, we can do this through a series of motivational drivers. So to understand some of the motivational drivers that are important in camp, we asked some friends, why do they return to camp? Here are some of the answers.
Good memories.
Experience.
Las experiencias sin igual.
Family.
Personal growth.
Su gente y volver a vivir la magia del campamento.
Community.
Teamwork.
Passion.
The drive to transcend and grow.
Family.
Transformation.
Reencontrarme con mi segunda familia.
Friends.
Que vuelvo con mi campo.
Adventure.
Joyful.
Es la mejor escuela para la vida.
That it takes me back to when I was a kid and makes me feel like so.
Working in outdoor environments.
Saber que voy a vivir experiencias inolvidables.
Because it's where I'm happiest and family.
Adventure.
El amor a lo que hago.
Meeting communities.
Be the adult I once needed when I was a kid.
Friends.
La magia de lo que hacemos y vivimos.
Long time friendships.
El sentimiento de pertenecer a un lugar.
Memories.
Friendship.
Growth.
Adventure.
Self-growth.
So huge thank you to all of our camp friends who helped us understand a little bit better why do they return to camp. And we made this question with intent, not only to help us understand some of the motivational drivers behind returning to camp, but also because of how we phrased it. We asked why, and this is going to lead us to our first tip. This first tip we can give you thanks to an American author that's called Simon Sinek. He has this amazing theory that's called the golden circle. What Simon says is that many people can explain very clearly and with a lot of precision what do they do. We in camp can explain very easily if someone asks you, what do you do in camp? Well, we explain it with a lot of detail. Then some of us don't have any trouble explaining how we do it. We talk about the process behind it and how we lead our staff or how we plan activities or so and so. But very few people can answer why they do what they do. And this is a huge issue. The golden circle theory tells us that we are used to talking from the outside to the inside. We find it very easy to talk about the superficial stuff, about what we do and how we do it, but we find it very hard to understand why we do it and to share it. And this is a shame because thanks to extensive research, we have come to understand that people do not connect with the what or with the how, but with the why. And if you don't trust me yet, I'm going to give you some examples. So why? Why of some companies? So we have, for example, Diageo. Diageo is a company that sells alcohol. If they tell me what they do, I don't really connect with them. But when they tell me why, they say to celebrate life every day, everywhere. And I say, whoa, that I think it's cool. That is more attractive to me. Another example, we have Airbnb. When we try to think, well, what do they do? There is a company that basically gives you housing for a few days or nights. So, well, okay, cool. We have hotels too. But when they share our why, their why, they tell us to help people belong anywhere. And we say, amazing. I don't want to stay anywhere else that's not an Airbnb. And finally, my favorite, we have a company such as Lego. Lego does the same toy in different shapes and sizes and colors, but the same toy for kids. And you say, well, okay. But when they tell you why they do what they do, they say to inspire and develop the builders of tomorrow. So we can see how powerful the why is. And this is precisely our first tip. In order to engage returning staff, we have to start with why. We have to have an inspiring purpose as a camp. We need to be very clear about why. Why do we do the job we do? We have to not only declare our purpose, but we have to share it and we have to act upon it. This is so important because when we have a purpose that is defined, that you act upon, if you have people that are going to resonate with that purpose, they're going to want to come back. And that's what we said at the beginning with the individual and organizational adjustment. These people, when we have as an organization a defined purpose, we're going to be able to attract and engage and connect and adjust to individuals in order for them to return to our camp summer after summer. So this is the first tip. So we understand that if we have a purpose, a clear, defined purpose that we act upon, that we share, that we declare, we can engage staff. We saw it in the video. Many of the people answered by telling you the higher purpose of why they return to camp. So if we harness that why, we're going to be able not only to attract amazing people, but to engage that staff to come year after year. And this is one of the motivational drivers. But another really important motivational driver that we were able to see at the video that we had for you is growth. Individuals seek opportunities to learn, they seek experience, and they seek opportunities to grow. And camps are a privileged growth environment, and we have to take advantage of that. Camps are not only a growth environment for children, which of course they are, but they're a privileged growth environment for our staff. And we need to take advantage of that and do it intentionally in order to engage staff and make them return. So the second tip is aligned with that. We encourage you to design an attractive growth plan. I bet that many of you already have roles defined within your camp. Maybe you start as a CIT and then you become a counselor, and then maybe you become a coordinator and then a director. We already have that kind of structure, but we need to do this structure more intentionally. We need to have accurate role descriptions. We need to treat this as a real job, as it is. And when we have accurate role descriptions, we are going to help our staff understand what do they have to do, what abilities they have to have if they want to grow within role from role. And that's what we say when we need a clear career ladder, when we put the roles in order and explain to them, okay, if you're here, you want to go here, what do you have to do? This is an amazing thing that we can do within our camps that's going to help us impact on two important intrinsic motivational drivers. The first one is mastery. Mastery is when people feel I'm great at what I do and I can handle anything in this role. If we have accurate role descriptions, we're gonna make that happen for our staff. because if they know what the role is about, they can like check all the boxes and say, okay, I'm amazing at doing this. And then, okay, I can grow and be a master of the next role. And the next intrinsic motivational driver that we are going to impact is called aspirations. Aspirations are a huge thing for any human being. And if we can draw a path and we can help staff see themselves within that path, well, they're going to aspire to be, maybe I'm a CIT and I say, oh my God, I want to return summer after summer because I want to be director of this camp. So this is a very clear way that we can engage returning staff, but growth is not only about having an attractive growth plan. We need to help our people become masters at the roles they have in order for them to be able to grow. And for that, I'm going to leave you with Mafe, who's going to share 2 more tips that you can do to help engage your returning staff. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andre, for the introduction of our part. So we have seen for this moment 6 tips, right? The 4 that Pinar and Lucy just gave us, and the 2 that we just gave you, focus on the engaged returning staff. So now the 7th point that we're going to be talking about is going to say, give, develop, focus, feedback. So actually, feedback is a huge word. Like we can have just one webinar talking about feedback, and we try to pull out the most important things about the feedback. And as you can see in the next page, please, we have, in words of Cameron Conaway, that a feedback is a response to person's activity with the purpose of helping them adjust to become more effective. Okay, we have feedback that comes in various forms, including evaluative, grateful, and coaching. So we're gonna start talking about the 3 forms that we have here. So first one, evaluative. So we're gonna talk about how you did and where you are. And the important thing here is that you are going to compare the things that happen and how you could have done them. Okay, there's gonna be a space to be better when we talk about evaluating things. The second feedback is gonna be grateful. So grateful is how you are valued and recognized. So this type of feedback is gonna be focused on the good things, positive aspects only, okay? And here you're gonna motivate the person you're feeding back to continue doing those good things that you notice. And the third form is coaching. And this one is gonna focus on how you can improve, okay? What things you can do better. And here you're gonna light the way for the other person to discover its own answers. And everyone, by its own decisions, it's gonna be trying to be better in their work, in their personality, in the way they do things, okay? So next, please. Now, feedback. So for having a feedback, we need to at least have 2 persons involved. The one that it's going to be talking or telling the things that he or she feels can be better, and the other one that it's trying to receive. Yes. This has to be something that you are going to be having a conversation, okay? This is going to be 2 people that are going to be talking about things that just happened. Okay, and what is important here, that this conversation should take us to a reflection, should leave us thinking about the things we're talking about with the other person there. And it's really important that we change our minds of having this as a monologue, where a superior comes here and tell you, you have to do this better. Yes, we are gonna change that. Because nowadays, what we understand as a feedback, it's we're gonna be sitting next to the other person, just like this, and we're gonna tackle the problem together. So remember, the problem is not the person. So we're not just going to be speaking face to face, because if we speak like this, the person is the problem. So ask them to sit next to you, and you're gonna focus on the problem that it's in front of both of us. So when we do this, the problem is gonna be out of the two people that are talking. This is really important. And that is the way to help them grow. Okay, that is the way in which this person's gonna grow, but I'm gonna be also growing because we are talking, and the feedback is gonna be useful for you and also for me. Okay, next page. For our feedback, so we're gonna imagine we're gonna be getting ready for work, okay, just like the work. So we need to put on all the clothes that we need. We're gonna evaluate the sound. We are going to be ready to get to the work. And that is why we're gonna think about, okay, which is the best space to have this feedback, to have this conversation with the person. It is going to be in front of the kids or maybe in front of the staff. Where is the location, physical location to talk? The second one is gonna be, we are going to think before we speak. Normally, when we have a feedback to give, we can be heated up. So we need to calm down, think the things, and then search for the people to talk. And the third one, it's related with the second one, and it's going to be, where is it's the right moment to talk. So if we are all busy in our camps and things are happening around, maybe it's better if we just wait for a second and everything calms down and you can have a feedback, and it's gonna be more useful for them and for us to wait. Okay, and now that we are ready as the workers, we need to have some special tools. Okay, so we are gonna have a toolbox with us. For every conversation that we are gonna have or feedback that we are gonna give, we are gonna have these 5 like tools here. So the first one, it's gonna be our helmet. Okay, so this one, it's pretty important. It's the base for everything, and it's separate the person from the problem. Okay, so remember again, the problem is not the person that I'm gonna be talking to. So every time we're gonna speak to everyone and we're gonna feedback what they do especially wrong, remember not to judge them. Remember just to like show them what they do wrong, but they have the chance to separate them from what they are. So they are not bad at that. They just show us in their work that they were not doing it properly. Okay, then we have the creativity. So if we make the feedback spaces different from just come here, we need to talk, people are going to start like to have feedback. So think about a conversation watching the sunset, for example, or watching the stars, or you can plan a special dinner with your staff members to talk and to have like that feedback, but no formal feedback like you sit down here. It's just talk. Okay, so be creative with those spaces. The third one is going to be positive. We are trying to help our staff members grow. And remember, most of our staffs are teenagers or young adults, and it's gonna be the first time they're gonna have a feedback. And most of the times, the first time you get information that you are doing something wrong, it's not easy to process and to say, oh yeah, you're right, I'm gonna go change that. No, it's hard. So we need to like light the way to help them understand and value the feedback they're having. So be positive about it. And the third one is going to be give chances. We are all humans. We can always make mistakes. And this is really important because maybe if we have a feedback with someone and next day they again do exactly the same thing as you haven't talked to it, it's okay and it's fine. You have to see this as a process, and it could be a slow process where people need time. That's it. So be patient, have like a really huge heart to wait the time that people need. And the last one is gonna be focus on little details. So we have different personalities in our staff members, right? And we have ones that are like spotlights, that are screaming, that like to run one away and the other, and you can always notice them. But we also have those kinds of staff members that are a little bit shyer and that work by their own. They always do their things, but like backwards, right? So we need to be paying a lot of attention of every single member of the staff and take like advantage of those little details that they have, so you can always give feedback, because our staff members, all of them, deserve to have at least one conversation or feedback. Okay. Next one. Okay, we're gonna be talking about key moments for the feedback. So actually, every single minute of our summer camps are moments to have feedbacks. Okay, it's just a matter of evaluating the zone, like getting ready for the feedback. But we can do it those in pre-camp, in the data at the end of the day, in shifts during the camp, in off times, in staff meetings. Every single moment in our camps can be a space to give feedback. What is important here is we need to create a culture around feedback. Okay, normally what we wait is that coordinators or directors came to us and are the ones in charge of giving feedback. But that is something we can change, because if we create a culture in which every single member of a staff has the opportunity to give feedback to the others, it's gonna be useful and it's gonna help us, everyone in the summer camp, growth. So even if a CIT wants to come and give a feedback to the director, that will be valuable. That would be like what we wanted to have in our staff, that people feel free to give and also to receive feedback. So we have to change that way of thinking that just the superiors are the ones that have the power to come to us and tell us what to do better. No, it's all of us. In the way we have this kind of culture, our camps are gonna grow and we are gonna be better in our work. We can do better things even outside of the camp. Okay, so now here is where we have our golden rule. Can you go to the next one? And our golden rule, it's gonna be public congrats and private feedback. So all the things that you can see good in other camp members, in other directors, in others, just tell them out loud. Like, everyone deserves to know what others are doing good. Okay, and we like when people tell us, oh, you're doing that so good, and all of us all around are listen to that. That's good, and you feel like, okay, I can still doing more things good. But when we want to try to do bad feedbacks or something to get better, it's better when you do it privately, because that way the person's gonna be ready to receive and to like hold their head down and say, okay, you're right. But if you do that in front of the others, it's harder to be like, oh my God, you're just like exposing me in front of others. So it's not good for that. Okay. So that is feedback. Okay. Like, huge topic that we have here. And now the fourth like tip that we're gonna be giving you, it's actually related with feedback, and it's about the 360 evaluation. Okay, so we recommend you to have a feedback like at the end of the season of the camp, when you can find how the people went good and what they have to continue improving, but in different angles. Okay, so next, Kate, please. So this feedback is known as multi-source feedback. And the idea of this feedback is to receive from as many angles as possible. Okay, so here you're gonna try to have a self-feedback, a superior feedback, and a co-worker's feedback. So this is going to be part of the way we are gonna try to change the culture, and we're all responsible for giving feedback to ourselves and for others. And we are going to have a form to do that, okay? So if we have a broader range of feedback perspective that just from our org director or coordinator, it's easier to think what I have to be better in, to to receive and to be aware of what I have to do better, okay? So for this, we also think about a plan, okay? And this kind, Kate, can you help me with the next one? Thank you. So we need to build a plan. So this kind of feedback is going to be useful to growth individually, but also like in the community. So we are going to be always pulling others to be better here. And when someone realizes why they have to do better, it's easier to change and to feel like it is not alone and it is just not just my fault, but I have others that are going to be pulling me here and that are going to be paying attention to my needs. And maybe, I don't know, I have to speak a little louder. So when I have to do that, others in my staff members are going to be like, yeah, you're doing it great. And this is like a supportive team, you see? So we're all growing together, and we came back here in camps just because we know people are going to help us grow. Okay. And next one, thank you. So, and remember, this is a really important thing, and it's our camps, even though it's June, July, August, are not just those 3 months, okay? Our camps has to go further than that. And we have to understand that camp doesn't end when the season ends, okay? So if we want to retain our staff, if we want them to come back every single year, we need to continue working even when kids go home, even when our staff members go back home. Why? Because they're people. And even though they show these things in camps, maybe that's the way they are in their universities, in their works, in their schools, everything. So it's the person and it's all the context, the ones that we are trying to make them grow. So if we have these 360 evaluations, we're gonna put them all together, and at the end of the camp, have a conversation in which we can give them this feedback, and we're gonna tell them, okay, during the summer camp, we noticed this, okay? This is a huge thing you do good, and this is something you can actually do better. And it's a really good time that you start working this even out of the camp. Even try with your family, with your friends, something new that it's gonna help you continue growing out of our summer camps. Okay, so remember, our experience goes further. And if we as an organization help us staff out of the camps, they want to come back because they're ready to continue growing with us. Okay, so thank you very much. To resume what we were talking, so don't forget, have an inspiring purpose. Second, design an attractive growth plan. Develop focused feedback, and end your camp seasons with 360 evaluations. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Andrea and Mafe. Really, really appreciate it. And I think one of the things that I'm seeing a lot with staff members is that they really do want feedback. And I love the chart that you had presented with all of the different official moments of feedback, including forms from families and specific check-ins at the end of the day, but also like the biweekly meetings. So showing staff member that, you know, sometimes they think it has to be this one-on-one, I'm sitting down, you know, face to face. There's actually so many other options. And of course, everything starts with a brilliant mission that helps staff members use as a compass. And that can always be brought back into feedback and engaging your returning staff to, you know, climb those ladders, but we're not at the top unless everybody joins us, right? So I love the holding hands images that you had there. So Mafe and Andrea, thank you so much. Just a friendly reminder, near the end of our session, we're going to be filling out our feedback forms. But without further ado, you're a very good slideshow person. You've got me. Without further ado, I'd love to invite Jay and Nika to the stage, building buy-in with new staff. That goes with that little mission statement that Andrea and Mafe were talking about. So we get to get a little bit more details about that with Jay and Nika.
Hi everyone, I'm Nika Ackenbom and this is
Royce Mabwe.
We are going to be talking about how to create buy-in with new and returning staff members today. So each year, camps are responsible for hiring the best team that they can hire. That sometimes means though that you're hiring a staff member in September and you're not actually seeing them until 10 months later. While those responsible for hiring are talking to maybe hundreds of candidates, newly hired staff have already started their journey to camp, long before they've even set foot on the campgrounds. Any gaps in communication during this time might lead potential staff members to reconsider their choices. Here are our strategies for getting new members to stick while also getting them pumped for the summer and in communication with fellow counselors and directors.
Before we start though, it's important to note that you are inevitably going to lose some staff members by the start of the season. It's great to have a goal, but you can do everything right and then something may come up for that staff member, barring them from coming. Maybe it might be like a family emergency, school requirements, the list could go on and on. So it's important to make sure that you're doing everything to forge those bonds that will stick, so you've got a solid team despite the inevitable few that will drop.
Here's our first tip. 1, start with the interview. Be sure to set clear expectations with each and every staff member, returning and new. Remind them that summer can be hard, but it is very rewarding and they will gain so much from working at camp for a summer. A big thing today with Gen Z staff members is that they want a camp that connects with their core values. This is, our generation is socially conscious. This is a big thing right now. So something you can do in the interview is ask the interviewee what their core values are, or values they would like to see in an organization that they work for. These can be diversity, teamwork, a supportive environment, anything. As camps are naturally accepting and supportive spaces, these values will likely align with your camp, and that can help get them pumped up if they feel like they're working for an organization that aligns with their values. Another tip is to take note of any anxieties that you see within a staff member in the interview. If someone is asking a lot of questions about the cabins that they're going to be living in, have videos and photos of those cabins to answer those questions and send to them so that they can see it firsthand to sort of ease that anxiety. Be proactive in sending answers to common questions before they are asked, and have photos and other documentation of things that could be potential worries. After the interview, be sure to inform the staff member of your communication platforms that are going to be taking place between the interview and going to camp. Whether that's, Instagram, WhatsApp, a newsletter, make sure they know that those are going to be coming their way and they will have communication outlets.
So the time between the staff member accepting to work at your camp and them actually arriving, we've put together like 3 strategies that you could probably use to help just guide you, make that whole process much more easy and simple for yourself and also the staff member. 1, answer any or all questions that they might have. This will help just clear the air, help them feel a bit more comfortable and feel like there's nothing that they don't know about your camp and what work that they're going to be doing. Number 2, connect them with both leadership and their fellow counselors that they will be working with throughout the summer. This helps make sure that the communication lines are nice and clear and they get to know the staff members before they actually set foot at the camp. 3, make sure that you pump them up, lead them to naturally begin to visualize and start thinking about their upcoming summer.
Here are our methods to accomplishing those 3 goals. Number 1, do a newsletter. Use these for more formal updates from camp, focusing on the summer experience, work responsibilities, and what they should be expecting. Share links to past sessions if your camp does videos or photos of sessions at camp so that they can see those and visualize that through that content. You can also use these to introduce your leadership team and have people other than your director submitting testimonies, little hello, welcome, this is me, this is my job, just so that there's another point of contact. You can also share packing tips and other resources such as sales on camp gear, etc. And you want to include information about forms and other important documentation that needs to come before they arrive. So insurance information, travel information, that kind of things. Share any updates that you have throughout the season and use them as a way to show off your camp through photos, videos, and even returning staff member testimonials.
So social media and group chats are a great way to get you engaging with the staff, your new staff that are going to be coming on, and also getting that new staff to be able to engage with the year-round staff members that are at your camp. One thing that you guys could try is having a staff-only social media page. This could be Instagram, Facebook, or WhatsApp. Camps can use these social media groups to share information, have live streams of Q&As, or show some important areas around camp. WhatsApp groups are also another good way to stay connected and keep information and connection with staff members, especially international staff members.
Another route to accomplishing these goals is doing a virtual hangout on a platform like Zoom. You can play games like trivia during these hangouts and keep them super casual, just as a way for everyone to get to know each other in this space. And it will also allow returning staff members to see each other again for maybe the first time since camp. And they'll all be excited, there'll be really good energy, and you can ask your returning staff members to really hype up and introduce themselves to the new staff to make those new staff members feel welcomed into that space before they're even at camp. These should be super informal and open for Q&A between staff members and directors, or maybe new staff members and returning staff members.
Another thing is making sure that you create opportunities for one-on-ones. Some staff members may have more direct questions that like a group setting may not really accommodate.
A software like Calendly is really great for this.
So this software allows users to schedule meetings with you based on your availability, almost like a virtual office hours. Designate a set time for new staff to be able to schedule a quick catch-up with you or other leadership in your team. This is a great way to also allow your other leaders who weren't in the interview to get some face time with new staff. So in conclusion, things to keep in mind with all these strategies. Have your leadership team take ownership of some of these tasks. If someone is super comfortable with Instagram, let them lead and moderate the Instagram page or group. It does more damage to do things poorly than to not do them at all. Do not leave staff members hanging and with questions.
Another thing to keep in mind is arrival expectations. The days leading up to camp will leave new staff members the most anxious. Their first in-person impressions of your camp will be during staff check-in or at airport pickup. Be sure to send out information on this process through multiple channels. That can be email, your newsletter, your social media, WhatsApp. If you're using all of those things, send it on all of those things. Make sure that they have all the information they need for arrival, where to meet, what to expect, transportation details, etc. So they are not coming in blind.
So the keys to retaining staff members in the period between the interview and camp starting lies in keeping them informed, heard, excited, and providing a sense of simplicity, community, and acceptance. These strategies can apply differently for each camp, but by utilizing these various avenues available, we can ensure that the journey from signing up to signing contracts is seamless and filled with anticipation for an incredible summer camp experience.
So in using all of these methods, you will be able to accomplish the 3 goals that we talked about earlier.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jay and Nika, and so many great ways on how to accomplish those things and examples. And I heard a lot about get your staff to ask questions. One of the things that I like to do is to make that part of the interview process. We send out a pre-interview guide. If you don't have one, you can just use your website and ask those interviewees to come ready with 5 questions. That tells you a lot about that person, but it also shows them that that's what you want. You want to fill in those knowledge gaps. So I really appreciate all that information. What a wonderful show. I encourage you all to stay for a little bit longer because we do have a spotlight coming up. But before we do, drum roll, brum, it is time to do our feedback. Gwen, can you tell us a little bit more why it is so important to do feedback for ICF Academy?
I'm delighted to be able to have a chance to share feedback tips here because these speakers, for many of them, this is their first or second time to speak to an international audience. And so the jitters were real for all of us. And so being able to get that praise and follow along the tips that we heard during this episode, share what was fantastic, share what can be improved, share what was most meaningful for you. We're giving you a little bit of time here to be able to go ahead and give some thoughtful feedback that we will share. The link is in the chat for you to do that. So please give them specific feedback of what was most meaningful to you and what you appreciated about their work. I personally am so grateful. We put out a call to this group that started in Spain and said, please, if you'd like to be involved, and all of them put their hands up and said, yes, we want to be involved. So let's give them some feedback. And then after this, we have 2 more exciting things coming up.
We really do. And we have a little timer up as well. So this feedback document shouldn't take you more than 40 seconds. We're already at our 30-second mark right now. And again, thank you to all of our speakers. Really appreciate the work that was put in today. Such a gift to the camp community. And I definitely have an entire notebook that has a lot of scribbles in it with brilliant ideas. And I'm excited to share that with my staff. All right, we are moving on. If you're not done with your feedback, please just continue. We're moving on just to chat a little bit quickly about our ICF channels. We have 4 different groups in WhatsApp, as well as a Telegram group for Russians. So whatever language meets your fancy, you can join all of these groups or just one of these groups, and you'll get insight details about the going-ons of ICF. The QR codes are here, and take a screenshot, save it for later, join those groups. And our time is up. Next, I'd love to invite to the stage Jeff Bradshaw to chat with us about ICF Awards. Now, Jeff, to so many of us, is a pillar of a camp professional, and also with ICF, always forging forward and bringing people with him, and somebody that I like to call my big brother. And I'm so excited for him to chat with us about something that's actually quite important with ICF. Camp professionals have a hard time saying we do the work, we do a great job, but we need the outside world to hear from us. And the awards is one of the ways to do that. Jeff, why won't you join me on stage?
Thank you, Gabz, for your kind words. That was another great academy today. I'm going to be really brief. Good morning or good afternoon, or for some of you, good late night, wherever you happen to be around the world. Just want to take really a couple of minutes to spotlight our ICF Awards program. You'll find all this information on the ICF website with details as well as past recipients and nomination form information. ICF has 4 awards. The first award is the Abbott Fen Druzhba Award. Most recently, this award has been presented to 4 pillars of our ICF community: Valery Kostin from Russia for 2020, Toshio Hoshino from Japan in 2021, Linda Pulliam in 2022, and John Jorgensen in 2023. We were able to, for those that were with us in Spain in October, present 3 of those awards in person, and then Toshio's we presented in Japan at some time. We hope sometime soon. Next slide, please. Abbott Fen Drujba Award recognizes individuals, camps, or organizations which have made a significant contribution to international camping. Some of the previous recipients include the 4 names I just mentioned, plus you can see several others dating back now 15 years. We have recognized individuals, but also camp leaders. So think about those people that for you have been those veteran camping leaders in your countries or your organizations or in your parts of the world. The next award is the ICF Butterfly Award. This one is unique. We typically represent or recognize individuals, camps, or organizations. And we're looking for those contributions that have been towards causes that are important to us in camping. Some examples of that, you can see here, are environmental or humanitarian or educational. Now, the Butterfly Award, you can see, has been presented only recently over the last 16 years, with the first recipient being Pop Hollingsworth from the States, most recent being Gabrielle in 2020. We would love to present a few more Butterfly Awards in the coming years, for sure. The next award is the ICF Letter Award of Merit. It's a letter that comes from the president of ICF, and it recognizes unique contributions beyond what we might expect from a normal volunteer contribution. Some of these folks, as you can see the list here in a moment, have been significant in their countries. They've been significant to their camps. They have helped to support an ICF initiative nationally or globally. So all of these have done, again, some pretty great things. An award, again, since 2008 that we have presented. And then the final award we have with ICF is the ICF Milestone Award. And this is one that we present to camps in a certain year that are acknowledging a significant milestone. Some of those milestones for 2024 include several camps in Canada, in Russia, Mexico, and Greece, ICF members that are celebrating significant milestones. And you can see here some of those range from 130 years to 52 years. There will be others we'll represent as well. These are the big numbers right now. But for us, we want to acknowledge camps that are celebrating 5 years and 10 years as well. This is limited to ICF members. So for those camps that maybe don't have membership right now or let their membership lapse, please give some consideration to that. And then finally, there's an ICF Awards nomination form on the website. We invite you, all of you, parts of the ICF community, to nominate others, individuals, camps, organizations for ICF Awards. We do ask for your information. We also ask for information about the recipient. I'm chair of the ICF Awards Committee and have been for a couple of years. If we receive a nomination, we will follow up and ask you, as the person nominating, to please provide a bit more information about that individual, that camp, or that organization. One last thing I want to say is we have never acknowledged with ICF Awards anyone that is a current ICF board member. For example, we've only just recognized John Jorgensen Jorgie as he retired from the ICF board as past president this past October. So it allowed us at the Congress our first opportunity to recognize Jorgie, but we hadn't recognized Jorgie dating back to 1997 when he first joined the ICF board. That's an important consideration. I'll leave it there. Thanks so much, Gabz.
Thanks again, Jeff. It's always great listening to you. Your wise words and soothing voice is always welcomed. And here we are, our handouts as promised. Check the chat for these wonderfully designed handouts from Pinar and Lucy. Certainly a beautiful checklist to be utilized. And remember, in camp, there's always something to do. So you don't have to tackle all of it at once. Pick your top 3 things that you would like to do and use these forms to help guide you. Well, this is wrapping up close to the end. I would like to talk a little bit about our next episode. Our next episode is ICF Academy Season 4, and it is April 23rd, 8 a.m. or whatever time you started today, same time as today, and it is our camp study tour in Spain. And our camp study tours are one of our favorite episodes to do because we really get the behind the scenes of the camp, and I know that you'll get some nuggets out of that, and of course some inspiration. I'd also like to say that ICF is not a solo endeavor. There is an entire team that puts this whole project together, and I would like to thank my comrade in camping, Gwen, Alexia, Lucy, Georgie, and Kate, for working with us to bring ICF to you at your homes. And our mission is just to share good information and bring good people together. And that is what camps do. Thank you so much, friends, and can't wait for our season of episode 4, Camp Study Tour in Spain, April 23rd. Take care, everybody.